Extraordinary Abilities on Roots 96.1 FM. Join us for news, views, and interviews with extraordinary people. Extraordinary Abilities every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on your extraordinary radio station, Roots 96.1 FM. It's gonna be fun, informative, and educational, but most of all, it will be extraordinary. Extraordinary.
Child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have arrived.
Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself.
You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should.
Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career. However humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue.
When adults speak up for the vulnerable and the weak, working and demanding that safety and respect prevail, because little lambs are protected and nourished, they know they are not abandoned. They are loved, and the world becomes little more like heaven as a result. West Stafford said that quote, "Good morning. Welcome to Extraordinary Abilities. I am Marcel Williams. We are recognizing Child's Month as we stand up, speak up, and protect the right of our children. Remember, you can connect with us on rootsfmj.com, rootsfm live, FB live, YouTube live, and Zena Radio. Remember, you can also contact us at 876-574-2910, 876-618-1537, 876-225-9478.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome again. It is Child Month. We continue with the recognition, the celebration, and the acknowledgement. And so this morning, I want to welcome you in a special way to Roots 96.1 FM. And the show is Extraordinary Ability. So hello to you over there. Yes, you over there, so around there, so anywhere you are. Welcome to Extraordinary Ability. Thank you for tuning in this morning. And of course, we are on the 8th day of May in the year 2024. And as usual, we have a nice little show lined up for you today. So, hey, let's hear what Marcy's got in her Did You Know feature. Marcy, over to you. Okay, we're trying to get through to Marcy with her Did You Know feature today. And we may have to just skip on that and go over to Adrian Campbell with the news, and then we take Marcy with the Did You Know feature.
Good morning.
With Adrian?
I'm Adrian Campbell, and this is Extraordinary News. In the wake of its recent collaboration with Caribbean Christian Center for the Deaf and Jamaica Deaf Village, Rural Agricultural Development Authority said it has been working to ramp up its level of support for persons with disabilities in the local agricultural sector. Currently in support of initiatives at St. Anne Disability Association, RADA, through its work with a group of approximately 60 individuals challenged with a range of disabilities including blindness, muteness, deafness, physical challenges, and mental disabilities, provides extension services to these persons through field visits, training sessions, and inclusion in programs and projects aimed at enhancing their productivity. At several special education facilities such as Edge Hill School in St. Anne and West Haven Children's Home for the Disabled in Hanover, the entity currently provides inputs for school garden initiatives, ongoing extension service support to facilitate training activities in food preparation, and the establishment of backyard gardening at these institutions. And that was Extraordinary News.
This is Steve Fragrance representing Farouk.
Thank you so much, Adrian. And that is indeed extraordinary news. And, rather, we want to commend you for partnering with the disability community and establishing in these institutions the backyard gardens and other support. So, good news indeed. Extraordinary news indeed. Yes, Marcy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. What did you know? Okay, so the did you know is did you know that Mother's Day is an annual holiday celebrated in the United States on the second Sunday in May? Mother's Day recognizes mothers, motherhood, and the maternal bonds in general, as well as their positive contributions to their families and society. It was established by Anna Jarvis, with the first official Mother's Day celebrated through a service of worship at St. Andrew Methodist Church in Grafton, West Virginia. On May 10, 1908, popular observance includes holiday card and gift card giving, church going, often accompanied by the distribution of carnations and family dinners. In the United States, Mother's Day complements similar celebrations honoring family members such as Father's Day, Siblings Day, and Grandparents' Day. And also, did you know internationally many Mother's Day celebrations have different origins and traditions, some also influenced by the more recent American tradition for the international celebration. See Mother's Day. And that was all for your Did You Know feature. Until next time. Up next, Never Give Up by Yolanda Adams.
Visions that can change the world, trapped inside an ordinary girl. She looks just like me, too afraid to dream out loud. And though it's simple, your idea, it won't make sense to to everybody. You need courage now if you're gonna persevere. You gotta answer when you're called. So don't be afraid to face the world against all odds. Keep the dream alive, don't let it die. If something deep inside keeps inspiring you to try, don't stop and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. Don't give up. Every victory comes in time. Work today to change tomorrow. It gets easier. Who's to say that you can't fly? Every step you take, you get closer to your destination. You can feel it now. Don't you know you're almost there? Oh, yeah, yeah. Gotta answer when you're called. So don't be afraid to face the world against all odds. Keep the dream alive, don't let it die. If something deep inside keeps inspiring you to try, don't stop and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. Don't give up. Who holds the pieces to complete the puzzle? The answer that can solve a mystery. Yeah. The key that can unlock your understanding. It's all inside of you. You have everything you need. So keep the dream alive, don't let it die. If something deep inside keeps inspiring you to try, don't stop and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. No, don't give up. No, 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 no. Don't give up. No, 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 no. Don't give Talk about it. You know life has its ups and downs. Turn your pretty face
96.1 FM, owned and operated by the Mustard Seed Communities, giving voice to the voiceless.
Excelsior Community College Business Studies She's an NCT vet assessment trainer. She holds a certificate in reading from the Miko University, a master's degree of education in exceptional student education from the Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, a bachelor's of education in technical vocational education training from the UTEC, University of Technology, Jamaica, and of course a certificate in pastry making, cake baking, and decorating from the Chang's Catering School. She's a art instructor, a job coach, foods instructor. She's currently a member of staff of the Genesis Academy. She was driven by her passion to see students with the ability to perform well in the workplace and did not given the opportunity despite their challenges and their abilities. She left Genesis Academy to join the National Youth Service that she could make job opportunities more easily accessible to youngsters with disabilities. Today, Mrs. Marva Medwinter is a native of St. Anne who has had an innate passion to nurture, train, and transform the lives of children with special educational needs. Today, we learn a bit more about what drove this passion and how it has contributed to the development of our youth and children. Welcome to Extraordinary Abilities, Mrs. Marva Medwinter.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to your show this morning. And it's especially important to us as it highlight the special needs in the month of May. I thank you for inviting me.
Yes, indeed. It is our pleasure, and we could not have gone through this month at all without having you here with us. And of course, the Genesis Academy family. Genesis is one of our premier institutions of learning and nurturing for the children and youth with disabilities and who are differently abled, as we would say, or neurodivergent. And, we salute the Genesis Academy, for the great work that they have been doing over these many years. And of course, this year is a milestone celebration for Genesis, but that will come a little later on in the year. But Genesis Academy, we salute you. Of course, Mrs. Medwinter, you are one of the educators who contributed and still continue to contribute significantly to the growth and development of our young people, our children with disabilities. And of course, take us back a little. Pineapple, Oteria, St. Anne, the young Mrs. Medwinter, the young Marva then.
That's a very interesting question because, as I said, I am from the country, from St. Anne, and in a little village by the name of Pineapple Place. A lot of persons are not aware of it because it doesn't stand out, but it's a village where there are a lot of tourism sector. But growing up there, my family, there were 9 of us in the family. So with my parents now, it was 11. So it was a big family growing up. And we grew up in a community where it was mostly like family. It was like, when there's a family land, so everybody in where we were living. So it was, what should I say? I learned a lot because from there I learned to live. Now that I'm older, I'm realizing that I grew to understand and work with different personalities. So that was very important to me. And, I appreciate that. Then, as you said, I went to St. Hilda's High School, and then you said the rest of it. So I won't.
Yes, and indeed, that was why we asked the question, you see, because you may wonder, okay, persons may be wondering, child month, why it is that we're asking, about your background. But as you said, you grew, family area, family land, you call it, and there were 11 of you. Where did you fall in the 11, the nine children?
Well, I was the fourth to last.
Okay, okay. So you had five before you and
Yeah,
three after you. All
yeah.
right. But then what were your interests then growing up?
I wouldn't say anything in particular. I was just like a normal young person growing up, so there was
Mm-hmm.
nothing much there. So, you were interested in a lot of things, going to the
Mm-hmm.
movies, going to the beach, stuff like that. So there wasn't really anything that I could link to my interest later on. It was just growing up normal, enjoying yourself, playing with your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, your friends. So there wasn't anything much that I would say that was different growing up as a child, you know.
Yes. So we're trying to discover, where did this drive, this feeling that this is what I want to do? We're trying to discover whether or not you had people around at the time that had special needs that caused you to have that compulsion to act later on in life. Anything like that?
No, I have a cousin, but as I said, I was young, so we just grew with him. So I just grew to appreciate that that is how he is.
Mhm.
So there wasn't anything to say to drive me towards that because he played with us. He was there. It's just that he was not able to do some of the things that we did. But there was nothing really, you
Mhm.
know, nothing really that would say that, this is it or, don't go there or what. But funny enough that you asked, because I have a sister, no deceased, from I was young, because I used to play to be a teacher, where I used to put the belt on and, go talk, teach the bushes and beat the bushes and, stuff like that. And she always encouraged me to be a teacher. But I said, no, that's not me. And
Uh-huh.
years later, here I am, you know.
There you go. There you go. And so you were doing all of this, not realizing that more or less that was your calling, you know?
Yes.
Yes, yes. And you told your sister no, but you had it inside of you, but you
Yes.
never saw it. Yeah. You were trained and you earned a master's degree in special education. However, you did not get into teaching special ed immediately upon being qualified. What was that wait like? Because seeing that you had that drive and that, you wanted to, that you then eventually knew in life that this was what you wanted to do. Why, what was that wait like before getting into special ed?
Okay. After graduating from St. Hilda's, I then stayed in Ocherius for about a year or two, and I worked in the community there. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
much. It was, I just did a little thing because yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any experience. Then it was O level, so I got a job and I was working there. And then after a while, it was just for a year, as I said, I moved to Kingston and I went to Excelsior Community College because that's what I've always been, a person who is driven by education. So I wanted to do more. So I went to Excelsior Community College, and from there, then I went on to work in the bank, the banking sector. That was a prominent bank at the time. And I worked there for almost 15 years. So you see, I still didn't have any connection with any special needs or anything because I did business at Excelsior. And then I went into the banking sector. I was there for almost, as I said, 15 years I was there for, and then the bank was brought out by another bank. So they were asking for persons if you wanted volunteered redundancy. I took it, and I went home. And at that time, I was now married with three boys. So I decided to go back to school. That was when I went to UTech. I was there at UTech studying and, now at the final part of it. And there were five of us in the group that we were doing because we had to do a group work. three of the persons were teachers, were experienced teachers, and then there's another young lady and myself. All three, the teachers were going back. The other person said she wanted to go back into the school. She wanted to go into the school to do teaching. I honestly did not know what to do. So I prayed about it, and it came upon me, try special education. So I don't know, because I had no experience, as I said, coming from banking, that I had nothing. I don't know where that thought came from. So I would say I did not choose to do special ed. I was chosen to do it. Then, as you said, I went there, and then I left it there. Tried by you, it didn't get through, and then somebody told me, because my husband is a graduate from Nova, and he suggested that I try there. So I did, and the rest is history. I was there, did the 2 years, spent some time teaching over there, and then came home.
So whilst you were in Florida, you taught special ed or just regular school?
Yeah. Yes, it was special education that I did.
Okay.
Yes,
What
because
was
as an international student, at the end of it, you can work for a year or two. So I opted to work, and then the recession came, so I came home.
Okay.
So
What was
I
it
do have
like
in the States?
in the States? Yeah. What was that teaching
Yes.
experience like with the special ed?
Well, it was it was an eye opener for me, because I just came from the skill area here, did the studies, and then you had to go out into the school. So it was very interesting, because then it's not like here, because they have students with different disabilities, young age there. So they had classrooms, and from baby right up. That's how they do it. So to me, that is something that I think we could model here, because we need to start early with these children, so they move from there to the next level. So I found it very interesting there. And then in the afternoon, I worked at a learning center where we helped children with their homework who were slow. So there's 2 jobs that I did there.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So what you're saying, the institution you worked for, how they had it is just from the babies right up. So they
Yes.
just transitioned, so they were able to to cater to their development from the baby stage right up to, so they could
Yes.
basically track them from, so they
Right.
would know and to see, okay, so instead of them, they are coming into an institution at 12 or 13 years old, or they start one here, and then it's disjointed, but the institutions for learning cater to the children who have special needs from the tender age
Early,
right up,
yes.
from early.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I, as a special ed person, realize that is important, because the earlier you start, the earlier it is detected, the earlier you start, then the better it is for the child. And what I noticed too, they had everybody there, persons who were not able to speak, because there they had persons who taught who taught the sign language
speech.
and everything. The children got taught from very early, so in one surrounding they were taught, and if they were having a class, and they had persons who were signing for those children, so they became one. So there was no
Yes.
done with them. So they felt comfortable with each other. So each person would get to appreciate the different type of disability and the person for who they are. So sorry, I found that interesting, and I think we could probably model something like that here. I don't know if we'll get there, but yes,
Yes,
I
that is indeed quite interesting, and something that I really do, I'm agreeing with you that we could research and develop here, because that makes sense,
yes,
and so everything is under one cover and yeah, that is quite interesting and really does make a lot of sense. And each person can appreciate the other person's disabilities and feeling comfortable with, yeah, that makes sense. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it does. Yes.
yeah. So you got that, you came back to Jamaica, and so you got that international experience, which sounds to be, very enriching, and now you're back in Jamaica. What happened next for you?
Well, when I came home, I started applying, and that was a shock of my life. I could not find, there's not a lot of special needs schools in Kingston
Mm-hmm.
because my family lives here. And
Mm-hmm.
I found it a little bit challenging, and because I came back with all this information and all this attitude and everything to ready to help my country and everything. And then when I came home, I couldn't get a job. And my sister and her husband went to Genesis to do some, I think that when they did the building, they finished the building, they went
Mm-hmm.
there and they told me about it. So I sent an application there, and I also sent one on to Prairie, because they have a special ed section there.
Mm-hmm. Liberty.
I got called, yes, I got called at Prairie High School. Um, and I was there for just a month because fortunately for me, Genesis called me. So I know that that is what I wanted to do because they had the skill area, and that's me. I
Mm-hmm.
love that. And where I was at Prairie, I was doing the English, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the, they have that. So I was just doing English, but then I found it more challenging as a to go back to Genesis, and they called me, and I went back there, and then on to NYS, and now I'm back at Genesis.
All right, so
Yeah.
we're going to talk a little bit about that. But just in case you're joining us, you are listening to Roots 96.1 FM, and the show is Extraordinary Abilities. This is where we highlight the achievements, the challenges, the triumphs, and everything pertaining to persons who are differently abled, persons with special needs. And today, as we celebrate Child Month, we recognize and we salute one who has dedicated her life and her career to really being a nurturer, one who teaches, transforms, and develops the lives of persons with special needs. We're speaking with Mrs. Marva Medwinter, and she is currently a member of staff of the Genesis Academy. Now, Mrs. Medwinter, you were now at Genesis. This was your Genesis 2011 was your first stint at Genesis. Your
Yes.
Yes, so
And
you were there. And what was your area of discipline that you taught at Genesis?
well, I went there when I was in the classroom at first, where I was teaching a class, but then the food teacher, fortunate for me, she left and the position became vacant, so I went there. So I was in the food room for 4 years. I taught
Mhm.
art in the
Okay.
afternoon, along with in the day. Now I was in the other school, regular school, and then in the
Mm-hmm.
afternoon I did food preparation in the
Mm-hmm. Food
afternoon.
prep. Mm-hmm. And now
Yes.
you're teaching children who are differently able, they many with intellectual disabilities, intellectual development and so on, and the physical. How difficult was it for you, or how challenging was it for you to impart to these students the
Well,
food.
as you say, yeah, you rightly said it because there were different disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So they were all coming together now. So there were children who were some were exposed to higher education, and some were coming from the other schools where they were detected. I would say they were detected late. So their
Mm-hmm.
sense of of education, or their level of education was not as high as those who were before, and the parents sent them to school to get help, to the regulars, to the special education school. So it was sort of very hard and challenging to put all of those persons together. But after a while, you learn, you learn how to deal with them, because some of them were auditory learners, some were persons who were, you could, do the feeling, the touching, the hearing, the smelling, the action, and that. So you now have to, as a teacher, learn how to combine all of that and to do differentiated lesson plans, so you can reach each and every one in there. So it was kind of a challenging, but after doing it after a while, then you got used to it. So it wasn't that bad. And I am happy that I did, because now I'm able to deal with another set, a different generation, I should say. Yes.
Okay, great. So, I mean, what does the curriculum for food prep entails, basically?
Well, you are sent units from heart that you have to teach the students over a period of time. So they did from breakfast items. Then it was then from, you had a variety of units that you did. So it was like presenting food, how to prepare different dishes that you had to teach them how to prepare. And then at the end of each unit, they would have been assessed. No, it's different, because they have changed it from that, where they're only doing one thing, just breakfast items now. And it takes a year. So they give them a year to do that, and then they are tested. That's a challenge we are faced in, because and most persons know that our students, that if they do something now, it's best if you test them now,
Yes,
because
yes.
there's no saying that there's no guarantee that they will remember this within a year, right? So we are having that little challenge with them. And as I said too, it's done by heart. Yes, so it's a little the heart is set, so you can't change. Yes.
Yes. So, who now lobbies for our children with special needs? Because somebody needs to speak for them in this regard. They can't be used and measured with the same yardstick as the other persons in our regular institutions. And Heart needs to be made aware of this, if in case they are not aware. Somebody needs to advocate for that change, because you know for them, we're actually almost doing them a disservice, giving them one hand and taking it away from the other, because as you said,
Exactly.
there is no guarantee. And especially our children with intellectual development, they some their short-term memory is good, some the long-term memory isn't good. So how
Yes.
do we, yeah, so it needs to
Yes.
be. And as one who has immediate contact and with them, you know and you are a heart assessor too, right? So you would
Yes,
know,
I
you would
am.
have you would have a pretty good knowledge of what their abilities would be, having now
Yes.
been engaging them in this way. So we
Right.
really need to look at this. It's a disservice to them, you
Yes,
know
it is. It is. And
yeah.
that is why I went to NYS, because I realized that a lot of the graduates from Genesis, when you're seeing them like a year or 6 months or a year after, they're still at home. So
Mm-hmm.
when I saw that NYS, No Heart, NSTA, they advertised for job coach. So it was like moving from the classroom into a different setting, because you'll be doing more or less the same. But these
Mm-hmm.
students are now older and they'll be working. So that was where I saw a lot of them coming, a lot of the Genesis students coming. So they were able to be placed in working position. But those it was just for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, some were kept on, and some went back home, and they became very disheartened because there was nothing else for them to do. So they feel discouraged, and so and it affected their self-esteem also. And that persons with special needs, that they need to be motivated and encouraged.
All the
So that
time. Yes, and that's a challenge with what we find with our children as they transition into adulthood and aim to get into the workforce. And unfortunately, we don't have many institutions or organizations in Jamaica that really cater specifically to ensure that they employ, a certain number of persons, with
I am
disabilities.
so happy that you said that. I am so happy because at NYS we had a challenge. The job coaches had a challenge in placing the students because some of them were placed from they hear the word disability or not able to. Then they start thinking all kind of things, physical disability, and now they have to change this and do that and all of that. So we had a problem with them, with placing
Yes,
them. So,
yes,
we
I
sensitize
know. Mm-hmm.
yes, the society.
Yes,
I don't know if it's
yes,
government or we need to have more programs about persons with special needs because we said we want them to be a part of the 2030 vision. But if they
mm-hmm.
are not working, what are they going to do? You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So
That's the
this,
thing.
yes, you say this, but you're not doing anything. And they are part of Jamaica society. They were
Mm-hmm.
born here. They are part of Jamaica, but yet still. Because when you go to the regular high school, your aim is to go to UWI or UTech or one of those universities. When you have special needs, your aim is to go to Heart. But Heart is not catering for them. They do them like at the community basis where they would teach them. But when
Mm-hmm.
they're finished here, they want to go on to do higher level, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not to go there, and that's a disservice to them,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yes, this
know.
this this needs to change definitely. This needs to change because you see so many youngsters in their 20s going into their 30s and so on, and they're still at home. Had it not been
Eh,
for the little bit that Heart NSTA does,
I've
or
done.
NYS used
Yes,
to do with that 6 months, and I think at one
yes,
point they had like a 1 year program. I don't know if that still exists,
mm,
but some were able to continue on. But
yes,
when I worked for a particular organization, I mean, I was the best friend of NYS, because I made sure I made
yes,
sure that the persons with disabilities, as much as I could take them on, I took them on. I took on persons who were
yes,
completely blind. They were
yes,
blind. They were not sighted at all. And persons were,
yes,
how you gonna do? I said, don't worry.
yes,
I know they have the capabilities. And persons were
exactly,
shocked. They work better, and I say this with
yes,
no apologies, they work better than persons
than
who
the
are
regular
sighted.
person.
They work
Yes,
better
yes,
than persons who have full abilities without any
yes,
physical challenges,
yes,
or any. They are motivated. They are always on time. They stick to the task. They are ready. They
yes,
ask for more. They
yes,
they are excellent workers, believe me. And
yes.
I
I
wish
just
that.
want to say,
Yes, go
sorry, go
ahead, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I just want to add that Heart still has that program, the 6 months. But I'm just
Mm-hmm,
saying,
mm-hmm.
it's not enough for them,
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
right? And
The
what you were saying about the special needs persons, because of their I could say the insecurity, because
mm-hmm.
persons feel that way. So when they go in the job, they tend to
The-
be doing more and more and more,
yes,
and then
yes.
sometimes they get burnt out, you
Ah.
know, are trying so hard and all of that. And then at the end of it, sometimes they don't keep them on. And then they become discouraged,
Mm-hmm.
you know. one of the things that I think we should do and start teaching them is to be entrepreneurs,
Yes,
so
yes.
they can do, and especially if they do like foods, or at Genesis now, we're teaching data operations, food
Mm-hmm.
prep, and we're looking at housekeeping,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
more than one skills. So when they leave Genesis, then they'll be better equipped to choose from, right? But
And
they still have, yes, they have the challenge,
yes,
so
yes. It is so heartening to hear, because sometimes they do get exploited too when they go into some organizations, and because of their
the,
willingness and their eagerness to work
yes,
and so on, they
yeah,
exploit them. Sometimes they're,
exactly,
even if they're employed too outside of the heart, the NYS
yes,
and so on, they're underpaid and so on, because of course, we see it, we hear it from parents, and all of that.
yes,
So yes,
yes,
and so some parents will withdraw their children and not put them out there to be
exactly,
exploited. And that is the
exactly,
other
because we have
side
had
to the
that,
coin too. Yes, we
yes,
have had that where parents
yes,
said, no, I'm not sending, because
doing it, yes,
they
yes,
went to this place or that
exploited,
place,
yes,
and they were
yes,
exploited, and they
yes,
overwork them, they underpay them, and these are
yes,
some of the things that are,
yes,
that has been happening. And so we really do need
yes,
to look at that. But I'm going to challenge Genesis also to um, design a curriculum for entrepreneurship to suit
yes,
the
the
children that
special
they
needs
have there, the
population,
special needs
yes,
population, to design that
yes,
entrepreneurship
yes, yes,
curriculum, that training, so that they can adapt to it and eventually go into their
yes,
own areas, and developing
yes, yes,
other areas too,
yes,
because there's so
yes,
much that
yes,
I
yes,
believe, I know Genesis has the capacity to do, but maybe they may need some more space. But we can get a Genesis,
yes,
what you call it, campus B or something like
yes.
that, to take care of. I'm speaking it into
Yes,
being, Mrs.
yes.
Beaumont. I'm speaking it into being. Miss
Okay.
Newman, I'm
And
speaking
I'm
it into
sure
being.
Mrs. Beaumont would be willing, because you know of the
Yes,
history on
of
her. She'd be willing
course.
to do whatever, because that's where her
Yes,
heart is.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
And principal, Miss
Mrs.
Newman,
Newman,
she too,
yes.
yeah, no, Miss Newman, she
Miss
has that
Newman.
too,
Mm-hmm.
that same drive. So, we will be working on it. So we hope it
Yes.
will come to fruition, as you said.
Yeah, man. Yes, we want that entrepreneurship, and there are other areas, other skill areas that I'm
Yes,
sure that they can get into and develop, so that we can
yes,
help our special needs community to be
yes,
independent,
yes,
and
yes,
maybe
yes,
even joining co-ops, developing co-ops where they can work together,
yes,
guided by, other persons,
yes,
who have their best interest at heart,
exactly. Yes,
and help them,
yes,
because they are still being left behind. So many are at
yes,
home,
yes, yes.
and
Yeah, a
all
lot
of
has been done for the government for them, but there's more, because
more.
special needs, it takes money. It
Mm-hmm.
takes money. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe sometimes that's the challenge, but it takes
Yes,
money, and it needs more needs to be done.
yes,
Because as I said before, the curriculum is there, they have opened it out, but when they get there, then that's where they're lost. So you
mm-hmm.
find that they get discouraged and they leave and back in the
Mm-hmm.
community, you
Yes,
know.
yes. And yes, so that is definitely something. And there's some other countries too that they get a tax break for employing
Exactly,
persons with
exactly.
disabilities. And
Yes, yes,
some, if some companies mandate that, and some countries, that they employ a certain amount of persons with
right.
disabilities, their
Yes.
company must make up of, a certain
Right.
amount of persons with disabilities. There are varying ways that we can ensure the inclusion, and I hope the powers that
Right.
we are
Yes.
listening and will hear and will, catch on and
Yes.
ensure
Yes.
that our persons with disabilities are included as much
Yes.
as is possible and are not
Yeah.
exploited in that inclusion. So
Yes. Yes.
again,
Yes.
another
Yes.
thing, yeah, they, need to be taught their rights and some do's and don'ts, some things that they should
Right.
accept and not accept. So, the
Exactly.
work
Yes.
continues, yes, but I
Yes.
believe institutions like yours will continue to nurture
Yes.
and
Yes.
develop our persons with disabilities. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you've experienced, you've seen some of the challenges and we just spoke about them. But what are some of the triumphs that you have experienced as a special education, uh, as a special educator?
Well, what I've seen is that some of the students that they were able to, for now, there's even one, I'm still remembering one of my students who was in one of those community-based program that they had at Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gifted in doing cake. She made cakes and she was able to decorate them and everything. I was so impressed. That girl, I was the instructor and she was doing better than I was. I mean,
Oh, wow.
so she was able to show some of the students some of the things, and she is now at Price Smart working, you know,
Wow.
and she's in the
That,
bakery here, and she's doing well, you know,
mm,
and I'm very proud of her, and I'm happy of for her. And every time I go there, if I see her, I'll just say,
mm-hmm,
well done, and it sends shivers through me, just thinking and knowing where she's coming from and what she went through. But most of our students, who are special, they have gifts. It's just for you, the parent or the teacher, to just find that out and push them into it. So
that's the
it's a
thing.
ongoing work. Yes, yes. As you said too, it's a nurturing work. So you have to be
Mm-hmm,
there and you have to be everything for them.
mm-hmm.
So I totally enjoy it. So, yes. I
Great,
like
great.
it.
Yes, I hear it in your voice. We hear it in your voice. We hear your enthusiasm, and we see where that innate drive just came from. You were built for this. This was what you were designed to do.
Yes, I was chosen. I see it now.
Yeah, now
Yes,
you
this
see it,
is my
right?
calling.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, yes. So we really want to thank you so much for all you do for the community of persons who are differently able, the community of persons with disabilities. We salute you, Marva Medwinter, and we just hope that you will continue and you'll stay the course and you will continue doing whatever it takes to empower, to motivate, to inspire and to develop our persons with disabilities. May God continue to bless you and all that you do. And as you lead the charge, you're one of our leaders, or, in this, because the fact that you could have been driven to just leave to go to to go to another institution to ensure that these youngsters had the opportunity to experience work, after being trained. It is something in itself to be recognized, and we want to acknowledge that and thank you so much for sharing your story, a part of your story, your journey this morning with us. And we wish you all the best, and we wish Genesis all the best. And we're looking forward to doing some great work and some more work together as we
Yeah.
seek to empower our community of persons
Okay.
with disabilities. Thank you so much for
Okay.
joining.
And thank you, Mrs. Young Palmer, for inviting me and for highlighting the work of Genesis. I thank you so much. All right.
Yes.
And all the best, because you are doing a great job too. because you're highlighting it. So, I just want to say thank you also.
Thank you so much. Our pleasure. Yes, and of course, just in case you joined us late, we are speaking with and we're highlighting in Child Month persons who, have dedicated their lives. This morning, Mrs. Marva Medwinter, one who has dedicated her life of service to the persons with special needs, and she's doing so at this moment through her service at the Genesis Academy. And we want to wish you all the best. So you can always pick us up back on Facebook Live, on YouTube. So in case you missed it, you can pick up the entire program on YouTube, Facebook, or on Twitch. That's another one. So you can always get the contents that you missed there. So I want to thank you. Marcy, it's over to you now.
Yes.
What do you thought of this, Marcy? What do you thought of this interview?
It's been great. It's been a great interview so far. I've been listening. It was wonderful, and I didn't know all of those stuff about her. And she has accomplished a lot, and she's a nice teacher. She's a nice cooking teacher. Even though I didn't get a chance to be in her cookery class, but yes.
Yes, I know you made several attempts for that, but you never can tell. She may begin something else, and you can join again at some point. But yes, I know you wanted to do that food prep. Yes.
So what my code is, history will judge us by the difference we make in the everyday lives of children. Nelson Mandela said that quote. So on behalf of my co-host Sean and I, thank you for joining us today. And thanks to also the engineer Dwight Irwin, and special thanks to you for tuning in today. Please join us in next week when we all have another extraordinary show for you. So until then, be extraordinary. So remember to live extraordinary and make someone's life very, very extraordinary. Taking us out is I Gotta Believe by Yolanda Adams.
Has its ups and downs. Turn your pretty face to an ugly frown. Seems that when I fix one thing, another one comes, clouding up my vision. But I can feel the sun. I believe that I can do this. I know that I can win, just as long as I have His love within. I believe that I can make it. I can make it through the night. I believe that I can walk on with my head held high. I believe that I am
Informative and educational, extraordinary abilities, and I'm sure many persons have a new and a more committed belief in our persons with disabilities. Do we have Yolanda Adams coming up? I Gotta Believe.
I have to visualize that everything will fall in line. I have to visualize the land while riding through the storm. I have to trust in my Father and open up my heart. I know that I can do this. I know that I can win, just as long as I have His love within. I believe.
Hi, I'm Sharon.
Hi, I'm Marcia.
I'm Adrian.
Join us this and every Wednesday morning